We here at Frffy vs. Anime are not responsible for injuries, stolen items, or f***ing spoilers. This video will analyze the 4 members of Team RWBY in their initial first designs. We're going to break down 2 things: the visuals themselves and how they're constructed, and the meaning behind those visuals and what they say about the characters. RWBY. RWBY is wearing a black dress with a red hood and holding a giant scythe. Her color palette is mostly consistent of bright saturated reds, black, and bits of silver. A piece of advice you'll hear from character designers is that a character should not have more than 3 identifiable features. While RWBY's design is very complex and full of details, her minimal color palette helps to balance her design. Her body is mostly covered in her black dress, and that dominant black helps to blend her body together. Her hood is completely drenched in red and contrasts her black dress. Her scythe is a balance of all 3 colors, but its unique shape means that it stands out regardless. The silver in her design is very minimal, but it helps to add variety in color, as well as prevent her silver eyes from feeling too out of place by making them feel unified in her design. Now let's break into the meaning behind these choices. The major theme behind RWBY's design is duality. This is most clearly demonstrated in the rose she's named after. Roses are famous for their beauty, but they're also famous for their thorns, a contrast of appealing and unappealing. The rose being integrated in her design through her skirt and sleeves, which look like blooming flowers, the symbol on her belt, and her mostly red color palette. This duality is also shown in her cute clothing contrasted against her deadly scythe. But the most interesting part of her design is her hood, a reference to 2 characters: Little Red Riding Hood and the Grim Reaper. These characters are part of why RWBY's design is mostly comprised of red and black. Little Red is represented through RWBY herself being a little girl, and the Grim Reaper is represented through her scythe. Character-wise, Little Red Riding Hood represents a naive little girl who took advice from a wolf, and the Grim Reaper represents death. RWBY is a naive child, but also a deadly huntress. Yang Xiaolong. Yang has large bushy yellow hair, a brown jacket, and waving cloths. Her design is a little more complex, but what helps it from becoming too cluttered is her skin, since it acts as visual breakup by dividing up her design. Her color palette is mostly comprised of yellows, browns, and skin tones, with small hints of orange, black, purple, and red. The purple complementing the yellows and acting as cool colors to contrast the warm ones. The meaning behind her design is pretty straightforward, which makes sense for her character. She's a feisty, passionate fire, shown in her flame-like hair and symbols on her chest and jacket. The skin she shows is not only to make herself look appealing, but shows the confidence she feels in her abilities, and her wavy hair and clothing show her to be free-spirited. While Yang is inspired by Goldilocks, her similarities are pretty surface level and only really there to fill the quota of our characters need to be based on fairy tales. The more interesting character that Yang is based on is Goku. This is shown in her Super Saiyan-like hair and her gauntlets. Unlike everyone else's weapons, which have 2 different forms, Yang's gauntlets really only have 1 function. This matches the straightforward, close combat loving style that she and Goku share. Weiss Schnee. Weiss's design is comprised of her swirly hair, white dress, and thin sword. Her color palette is primarily comprised of white, light blues, skin tones, and light touches of red, gray, yellow, and black. The red helps to contrast the cool colors while separating her head from her dress, and her legs and sword act as color variation from what is mostly a white design. In terms of meaning, Weiss adopts the style that her whole family wears, showing her pride in their traditions and how she wishes to live up to their expectations. Her hair is nicely put together, her clothes are incredibly fancy, and her sword has a thin tip, implying focus, control, and elegance. There's a very clear snowflake motif in her design, from her hairpin to her sleeves and skirt to the symbols on her dress. The snowflake is something in nature that is seen as having perfect symmetry, so it makes sense that Weiss's family would adopt this symbolically perfect symbol. However, there is a hint of imperfection in Weiss's design: her scar. As much as Weiss tries to be perfect and live up to her family's expectations, she is a flawed human being who should strive to be her own person. Belladonna. Blake's design is comprised of her long black hair and bow, which eventually gets removed to show her cat ears, her suit, and her gun, sword, whip thing. Blake's design is primarily black with white and skin tones breaking up her design, with very muted purple on her legs and yellow eyes. In terms of meaning, most of Blake's design is meant to foreshadow her true identity. The bow she used to wear on her ears is interesting because this particular bow is very common for child characters. It feels somewhat out of place on a character who seems so mature, hinting at the idea that she might be hiding something. Also, her suit has coat tails. Unlike the other characters, Blake's design has very muted colors. Saturated colors are usually a sign of youth and energy, so Blake lacking these colors implies maturity and stoicness. The one place where she does have saturated color is in her eyes, which draws attention to how slanted they are. Slanted eyes usually symbolize cynicism, but it also gives her an air of mystery. The muted colors might also represent that as much as she has lost the color in her life, she hasn't completely given in to cynicism and can still be brightened by those around her. The symbol on her leg is a deadly nightshade, a poisonous flower that works as a reference to Beauty and the Beast, but also reflects what her relationship with Adam was like. This covers all the designs I wanted to talk about in this video, but make no mistake that RWBY has plenty more brilliant character designs, and I encourage you to check out the show if you haven't done so. But stop after volume 4. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving me a like and comment so I know to make more videos like it. Also consider sharing my work on social media with hashtags like RWBY. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'm in RWBY.